Masondo says government is busy consolidating bankable infrastructure projects with a view to ensure that the projects are viable in order to attract finance. He says tax incentives will encourage investors to invest in the country.
For us to get capital to flow our way, let's not make it difficult, particularly ourselves. As government, let's set up the right incentives for business to come or to be retained, not just to come, because we also have businesses here on the continent. Let's just make sure that we set the right incentives. I'm not allowed to talk about tax. That's the function of the minister. But I'll whisper to him that in certain instances, you might need to do some tax exemption for certain type of infrastructure.
The Deputy Finance Minister has pointed out that on the continent, there is a funding shortfall for infrastructure of up to $170 billion per year. He says money is not the issue, but there must be bankable projects.
Debt in itself, it's not bad. The question is whether the economy can afford it. Because if the debt is unsustainable, it raises the sovereign risk premium, and that raises the cost of capital, not only to bonds, but also to equities. So we've been on the path of keeping our debt, to public debt, to sustainable level through managing our fiscal policy in a prudent manner.
On fiscal policy, Masondo says the challenge is to manage debt to GDP.
We know the funding gap, but if you go around and say, show me the projects, very few projects will be put on the table. So I do think that the working on the bankable projects, it's quite important. South Africa, we are drawing from the RIP program, helping departments to put together bankable projects, so that when you go around and say, please invest in infrastructure, yeah, it's a bankable project, it makes commercial sense, the returns are good.
Meanwhile, one economist says the fragmented geopolitics pose a challenge, and South Africa must negotiate trade with the United States while considering other trading opportunities.
Africa must continue to bear in mind, and South Africa along with that, that 7 of the 10 fastest growing trade corridors around the world actually exclude the United States. So there is opportunity outside of the United States. And again, it's astonishing if we are spilling over into this bifurcated world, you have on the one hand the United States, and then on the other everyone else. And by everyone else, it's astonishing if you consider the global north, meaning Europe, excluding the US, is throwing its arms around the global south.
Balim has implored African countries to ensure institutional strength and the rule of law if the continent is to attract investments. Ulelani Philip, SABC News, Stellenbosch in the Western Cape.